house remembers. Will you ever walk into a place and feel watched? Like something old and angry is hiding in the walls, waiting to be let back into the world. Yeah, that's how I felt. This story isn't fiction, it happened to me. My name is Daniel. I was 19 when I moved in. I was fresh out of high school. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, so I got a job working nights at a gas station. I saved all my money for months to rent a place of my own, somewhere I could think, get away from everyone, and figure things out. I found it on an online classifieds website. It was cheap, too cheap. I should have known right then it wasn't going to be a good idea. The house was big, 2 stories, 4 bedrooms. It looked nice online, almost cozy. But the moment I stepped inside, the feeling hit me. Cold, like the air conditioning was blasting, but it wasn't. No windows were open. It was winter, for God's sake. I remember pulling my jacket tighter around me and shivering. That should not have happened. I asked the real estate agent if there was a problem with the heater, or if maybe she could turn it up before showings. She just smiled, said, "It's just drafty. These old houses." She shrugged. You know, I nodded, although I didn't know if it was just me, but the hair on my arms stood up. I didn't like the house, but I needed a place to live. So I signed the papers. I took the keys. I didn't bother unpacking much. I slept in my car the first few nights until I worked up the courage to go inside. The neighbors never said hello. They only stared. When I walked past them on the sidewalk, they looked me up and down, then quickly looked away, like I offended them. I don't look that bad. I was young, sure, but I showered that morning. I put on a nice shirt. I couldn't understand what their problem was. Their stares made me uncomfortable, but I couldn't imagine why. Maybe they just didn't like outsiders moving into their neighborhood. Maybe they thought I was some kind of criminal. I didn't know. All I knew was I couldn't wait to get home that night, so I could crawl into bed and sleep. First night, I heard footsteps upstairs. Hollow, slow, like someone or something was walking back and forth. I woke up and sat straight up in bed, heart racing. Footsteps. Who was there? I lived alone. I checked every window. Everything was locked. The closet was empty. I told myself it was just the pipes. Maybe the house settling. Anything but what I really didn't want to admit, which was someone else was in the house with me. I went back to bed, but I couldn't sleep. So I got up and went downstairs to watch TV. I was trying to convince myself everything was fine. I mean, even if someone broke in, wouldn't they have taken something? The TV was old. The furniture was old. There was nothing worth stealing. Still, I kept listening for those footsteps. For the rest of the night, second night, the bedroom light turned on by itself. I was laying in bed watching my phone. I wasn't paying attention, but I heard the light click on. I must have been tired because I just assumed I did it myself. I reached over to turn it off, but the switch was cold. I hadn't touched it. I clicked it off and on again. Nothing. It stayed off. I told myself it was the switch. Maybe it was faulty. I didn't want to think about electricity in an old house. Third night, I found muddy footprints in the hallway. I went downstairs and saw them. Black scuff marks on the white carpet, leading to my room, going back and forth, back and forth. I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew I wasn't imagining things. Someone was in the house with me. I was scared, terrified actually. What do you do when you find footprints in your house that weren't there the night before? You can't call the police. You don't know what to tell them. You can't explain what you don't understand yourself. So you try to tell yourself it was your imagination. Try to pretend you haven't seen anything. I did. I tried to go back to normal. But the third night, I woke up to whispering. Voices, they came from everywhere and nowhere. At the same time, I heard my name. Daniel. It wasn't a whisper, more like a hiss. Daniel, Daniel, Daniel. I never could make out what they were saying. Sometimes I thought I heard footsteps along with it. Heavy footsteps, slow. But when I got up and went to investigate, everything was quiet again. I told myself it was the wind, maybe a radio tower nearby, but the whispers followed me. They always came from the basement. There was a door at the bottom of the stairs, one that led to the basement. It was always shut, nailed shut. At least it was when I moved in. But the nails were hammered in crooked and pretty unevenly spaced. I could easily rip the door off its hinges. I never did, not until I had no choice. I hated the sound of my own breathing. I hated the way my blood pumped through my veins. I hated the way my stomach growled when I was hungry. It's pathetic, I know, but I was so scared. I was afraid of what I might hear if I opened that door, afraid of what I might see. One night, I woke up to screaming, a woman's voice. She sounded terrified, like she was begging for her life. I sat straight up in bed. The voice echoed in my ears. Please, I can't breathe. Please help me. Then another voice, louder, meaner. Shut up. You think I want to hear you scream? You think I care if you live or die? The screaming stopped. Then I heard sobbing. I got out of bed and walked to the door. I listened. More sobbing. It sounded like it was coming from the basement where I never went, where I was too scared to go. Now I had no choice. I couldn't keep listening to her cries without doing something. I gripped the doorknob and closed my eyes. I was shaking. I didn't want to open that door, but I needed to. I owed it to her, whoever she was. I kicked the door open and went down the stairs. The basement was dark, pitch black. I couldn't see a thing. The only light came from the door I just walked through. It was open now, letting in a sliver of moonlight. I couldn't see the girl, but I could hear her. She was still there. Please, I need help, I called out. Hello, my voice cracked. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I couldn't see, but I could hear the silence after I spoke. It seemed to stretch on forever. Then I heard shuffling, like she tried to move. I couldn't take it anymore. I wanted to run back upstairs, hide under my blankets and pretend I never came down here. But before I could turn around, I heard it. Heavy footsteps behind me. I froze. I knew I shouldn't run, but I didn't know what else to do. I couldn't breathe. My light flickered, then died. In the pitch dark, I heard it again. Closer now, behind me. I screamed and ran. I didn't stop running until I slammed the front door and got in my car. I drove all night. Didn't stop for gas. Didn't stop to sleep. I just drove. And when the sun finally came up, I got a room at a motel. I didn't go home. I didn't go back to that house. I found somewhere else to live, but I still dream of it. The basement, and when I wake up, I swear I hear it again. The house remembers me, and now it remembers you. If you want to hear more real horror stories like this one, follow the channel. Thanks for watching. See you soon.